Hi heathens, and welcome back. I know it's been a minute, but I'm going to start my new YouTube channel. Well, I guess not new, but I'm going to revive my YouTube channel, and I thought I would start by adding a little witchy FAQ to get you all prepped and geared so you too can get in the know about the craft. So first and foremost, is witchcraft a religion? This is a very popular question, and the answer is no. Witchcraft is a spiritual belief that varies culturally. Everyone has their own ideas on what witchcraft is. In some countries, witchcraft is known to harm or is known to be a magical practice that is used to harm and hinder. In other countries, in other ways, the name witchcraft or the word witchcraft has multiple definitions and associations. However, in the United States, Wicca is a recognized religion. This gets confusing because in Wicca, all Wiccans are witches. However, not all witches are Wiccan. Wicca is a religion that started in the 60s, and despite its ancient roots and the ancient practices that it has tried to revive, it is a mainstream religion that started in, well, the 60s by a man named Gerald Gardner. Another thing that people ask, can I be a witch? The answer, yes. You do not have to be initiated into witchcraft. You do not have to be born a witch. You do not have to be blessed by a witch or ordained as a witch. Anyone can be a witch if they practice witchcraft, if they study witchcraft, if they follow the steps and proper guidelines to get into witchcraft. If you feel this pull, if you feel this calling, by all means call yourself a witch. However, keep in mind that by claiming to be a witch, you are putting yourself on the fringe. You are taking on a mantle that many have taken on before, where people were persecuted or judged. Essentially, the word witchcraft has a lot of stigma behind it. So before you claim to be a witch, I would read up on the history of witchcraft, the traditional aspects of witchcraft, witchcraft as a spiritual practice, and see if it calls to you. Do I have to work with deities, fae, and spirits in order to practice witchcraft? No. No, you do not. While many witches do work with deities and spirits, as myself, you do not have to in order to practice witchcraft. Witchcraft is a secular practice that can be done and fused with any religion. There are Christian witches, there are agnostic witches, there are surprisingly atheist witches. There are many kinds of witches. Witchcraft is not only is witchcraft a practice, witchcraft essentially, think of it as it's your side piece or side boo that you can utilize with any other spiritual structures. So while you can worship deities or honor the fae or believe in the fae, it is not a necessity in order to practice witchcraft. The practice of witchcraft is essentially the practice of folk magic, folk belief, honoring folk superstitions, and incorporating that in your day-to-day. What is the difference between white witchcraft and black witchcraft? Nothing, because there's no such thing. This is something else that needs to be brought to light. By saying black witchcraft, the idea of black magic, black witchcraft, that has a lot of racial connotations, okay? In the practice of magic, in the practice of real witchcraft, there is no black or white. Witchcraft has no color. Witchcraft is a practice that utilizes the forces of nature, that is used to manipulate the forces of nature to gain. Witchcraft is a manipulation. Witchcraft is a manipulation of nature to gain an intent or gain a desire. It is not black or white. Witchcraft is a tool. Think of it this way. It's like a knife. You can use a knife for good. You can use a knife to stab someone in the back. Okay? Witchcraft is a tool. It has no color. We need to stop the demonization of witchcraft. We need to stop the idea that there is black or white. The more that we do this, the more we conflate the idea that the color black is negative and dark and evil. On the contrary, in witchcraft, you would utilize a black candle to banish or send back and to protect. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with the color black in magic. That was a fallacy that came later on. So no, there is no difference between black and white witchcraft. That does not exist. In witchcraft, there is no color. It's all about the intent. Can you teach me how to become a witch? Yes. Yes, I can. Actually, if you go to my website, I have a wisdom tab. If you click on that, you will see that I will have updates in terms of color, correspondences for candles, talking about Mercury retrograde. I also have my personal FAQ up there as well. And I do teach a lot of online classes, as well as offering these YouTube videos so you have a free introduction to witchcraft. How do I know what type of witch I am? Well, first and foremost, know that you do not have to be a cookie cutter version of what you think a witch should be. There are many types of witches. There are many types of titles that witches take on. You could be a hedge witch. You could be a green witch. You could be a blood witch. There are many other terms and titles that people take on to coincide with the word witch. For me, I consider myself an eclectic witch, or even a folkloric witch, in the sense that I incorporate folklore and different aspects of magic from all around the world into my craft. Before you give yourself a title, before you put yourself in this category, learn about the many different aspects of witchcraft. Think about what you are called to. Are you drawn to herbs? Are you drawn to history? Are you drawn to crystals? Are you drawn to animals? Do you like divination and tarot? And do you have an inkling for a certain kind of craft? What is your background? Are you drawn to Celtic, Egyptian, Norse? Once you figure what it is that you like, it will give you a better idea in terms of what type of witch you are. But don't feel that you have to fit any certain type of witch. You can just be a witch. What is a familiar, and do I need to have one? This is another popular question. A familiar is not your house cat. I'm sorry. It can be, and the truth be told, familiar is one of those things that have been added later into the element of witchcraft. The idea of the familiar came through the 17th century during those trials. During the witch trials, there were accusations that witches had a spirit guide or a demon that assisted them in their magic. Okay? In traditional witchcraft, that became utilized into our practice, since traditional witchcraft takes a lot of their practice from folklore and history. Okay? Now, a familiar, as I said, this is not a domestic animal. Just because you are a witch and you have a domestic animal does not mean that that particular animal is your familiar. A familiar typically is the witch's companion, the witch's friend, the witch's assistant in magic, whether they are real or spiritual, okay? So if you have a calling to ravens, okay, and you utilize raven symbology in your magic, that raven can be your familiar. A spirit guide that has no form can be your familiar, okay? If you look at old witch trials, you'll see that many of these familiars in witch trials, while they may take on the form of domestic animals, they were typically specters or spirits or demons in some sense. And we'll talk about demons later on. And last but not least, do I need to be gifted a tarot deck in order to have permission to use them? This is a very popular question, and the answer, once again, is a resounding no, okay? You do not have to be gifted tarot cards in order to use them. As a matter of fact, that myth was perpetrated by other tarot readers and psychics in order to limit the pool and limit the competition, okay? If people knew that you had the access to purchase your own, well, actually, once tarot cards became mass-produced, everyone had knowledge to this craft, okay? Psychics wanted to limit that pool. So they started spouting that myth. You had to be gifted a tarot deck. You have to be gifted an oracle deck. You had to be gifted cards in order to use them, okay? But there's nothing wrong with going out and finding a tarot deck that speaks to you and purchasing it yourself, okay? So no, it does not have to be gifted. Buy as many tarot decks as you want. Just make sure that when you are doing tarot, that you learn how to do the readings properly. Memorize those keywords. Spend time with the cards, okay? We will be talking more about tarot later on. So that pretty much is my mini FAQ, and get ready to have more videos coming up. This is spooky season, the season of the witch, October, so I have a few more goodies planned for you.
Get the giggles out. Get the giggles out.
Okay. I just don't know how to, like, hello. Is that how I start? Okay.
Is there something that you call your fans? Like, for example, for me...
I swear to God, if you bring up, like, the luster coven.
No.
Oh, you can put that in there. Hi, Olivia. What up, witches? It's your boy. Sup, witches. Yo, witches. We're gonna be here for a minute.
Day one.
Hello, thanks for watching the video. Please leave a comment, and if you like it, give it a like, subscribe, and if you want to know when there's another video, you can just click the little notification bell. If you look below, you'll see links to my shop, my personal site, as well as other social media links in order to get a hold of me, and have fun, heathens!